So welcome back, guys. We do appreciate there may be some issues, but I assure you we're trying to resolve them as we speak. But the game must go on, or the show must go on, as we should say. And what a game we have. Team Dignitas up against WoT Pro, just moments away. These guys are chomping at the bit, so we're not going to hold them up too much. Quickly, your prediction here.
Oh, I think WoT Pro are going to take it.
WoT Pro, okay. All right, going against the trend right now, as Dignitas are currently the first in the rankings here, but still. That's our thoughts towards it. I'm going for Dignitas. I'm a big fan of the way they play. So, bit of a, clashing opinions, but our opinions don't really matter because we don't win anything from them. It's just pride alone. But you guys at home certainly can win some goodies, and I know a lovely lady who can take you through as to how to get involved. So, Melly, how can the people at home get involved here with us in the studio?
So before we head into the Clash of the Titans, you can't say it any different, I want to remind you at home of the benefits of becoming a part of our community. So head over to our Facebook and Twitter page, follow us, like us, follow our Twitch channel to get notified as soon as we're going live. There are lots of codes and gold and hardware to win. So be part of it. Don't miss any contest, challenge, or whatever we will think of. And yeah, I also want to remind you that our pumpkin contest is still running. We already got some nice submissions. The contest is up for roughly a bit more than a couple hours. So every submission that enters our PM box on Facebook before 11:59 p.m. will be considered. So it's 32.5k gold.
Wow.
I would totally take part in it if I would be allowed to. So the next contest is already planned, so just stay tuned on our Facebook page, and I promise you it will be big as this one. And also being active on Twitter has its advantages by tweeting. It's simply tweeting. You can win one of 3 bonus codes. Just send me your questions, your opinions, your feedback, and everything will enter the race of the tweet of the day, and will get rewarded with a bonus code at the end. So the next Facebook vote is already live. Head over to our Facebook page and take part in the vote just to see the tendencies of our community. And in the comments below, you can enter your predictions of the exact scoreline of the following matchup. And if you get right, you get maybe lucky.
Well, there you go. Make sure you guys at home get involved because there's a lot up for grabs and it's certainly worth your while. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get towards those head-to-heads because that's what you're all here to see, not our ugly mugs, because it's the Giants going head-to-head. As Melly pointed out, the Titans even is Team Dignitas up against WoT Pro. Who are we looking at here and who's going to be the standout player because there's so many of them? Well,
we're looking at the Season 1 DreamHack winners of the WoT Pro League on the left, Team Dignitas on the right. Our Season 2 winners, WoT Pro. Stalker, the team captain for Team Dignitas. Standout players, so many. Apple, I think, is probably one of the best players on Europe, full stop. Definitely in that top 3 for sure. Garat, he's being from the Red Rush Team 1. Such a great player there. Dream, Arclit, Red Rush Unity. We've got Angel Killer from the Red Rush Team 1. He's such a good player in there. And then obviously got Shanish, T69 superstar for sure. For WoT Pro, we got Karitz, team captain, Breakneck, great little tanker, especially in the MX 1390 Amelka. We've got there as well. Las Vegas, he's been phased out a little bit just because artillery not used in the lineups quite as much as it was in Season 1 and a little bit in Season 2 as well. And Just Cause. Entech's also playing a little bit more. We haven't seen him for a while, but he's certainly started to be utilised. Certainly also pulling his weight, which is really good to see.
Very much
so 2 absolutely amazing teams. But I think in terms of results, Team Dignitas against WoT Pro, the real significant one is that Season 1 win where Team Dignitas beat WoT Pro 4-2. So that's the one real time where you can say these 2 have gone head-to-head in the WoT Pro League, in the Wargame League Europe. And, well, one of them's come out on top, and that was Team Dignitas.
Yeah, and a lot of people doubted and questioned that result as well. They always attributed it to external factors. But really, I think Dignitas are only going from strength to strength now. They've really stepped up their game. We didn't see them in the Season 2 finals for their own reasons, but still, Dignitas are looking dangerous right now. They always have, but now it's really coming to the forefront. They're an extremely good team as a collective, as individuals. As you said, Apple, wow, what a key player. He can really create those impeccable moments. And do make sure you get your predictions through to us. Obviously, we do want to know via the hashtag WGLEU. Simple as that on Twitter. I love hearing from you, and obviously on Facebook as well. It's going to be a hard one to call because Virtus.pro are hard to deny. They're, you're backing them, even though they are currently in second position. They're still a very formidable side. Their execution has been flawless. Their individual play, once again, perfect. Very hard to knock them off that, important factor they always get to. They always have that counter plan ready. They always have the backup plans ready. No matter what gets thrown at them, they always seem to be able to handle it extremely well. But as can Dignitas, and it's a delight to watch these guys play. It really is. So I do feel for you guys at home actually having to call which team you're backing. And the first map will be Prokhorovka, so we can kind of go into that a little bit towards who do you think this one favors, who's really got those drill down strategies that are going to pay off here. Because I always thought Virtus.pro are very good on this map, but who are you thinking is going to really have the advantage here?
Yeah, I think Virtus.pro, season 1, they had 14 wins, 0 losses, so they were the kings on this map, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but that's because they had Las Vegas, who's probably up there with Eclipse and myself in terms of the best artillery players in the world. I'm kid, of course. Eclipse and Las Vegas probably the best too. I think that's where it really got them the wins there. Now without him and without artillery full stop, I would think Team Dignitas can certainly creep in here. They've been very consistent on this map. They've got plenty of wins, but I still think Virtus.pro have the advantage here. Okay, Team Dignitas actually won against them on Prokhorovka in season 1 in the finals, but I think that was more of just an absolute stroke of genius from Team Dignitas than any kind of consistency. So yeah, we're just waiting for one player to join us. Our first map will be Prokhorovka, as we've been saying. So in terms of tank lineups, I'm going to be looking towards which team is going to be picking the Pershing, the 4-6-1, just because
the 4-1-6.
4-1-6 even. Sorry, yeah.
Correcting the expert. Let's just remember that.
I got my numbers the wrong way around. Sorry.
Numbers are hard.
Indeed. But yeah, I think what's really interesting about watching these guys tank picking is that they've done the theory crafting behind it. Yep. They've really done their tactics. They've done their homework. Full stop. And the tanks they pick are usually the best tanks on this map, full stop, all around. They like to play the standard way. They like to innovate, but towards the middle section of the time limit, the 10-minute counter we have, so probably towards the 6-minute mark, as opposed to picking a tank where, trying something new within the first 2 minutes, it's where it's only going to shine, and then from there on out, it's going to be pretty questionable.
Well, let's find out right now, because those tank picks are ready to go. So why don't you take us through what we're seeing so far?
So double T1 from Team Dignitas, obviously that means 5 other tanks will be tier 8 of that variety. So double AMX 1390 for Virtus.pro. They're going to be starting with 2 tier 8 tanks, which is quite unusual. We don't usually see that. Usually the T1s are out there. That might be indicative of the fact that Virtus.pro may be taking something a little bit unusual, maybe even artillery, maybe. But we're just going to have to wait and see towards the end of those tank picks. Double AMX 1390 also coming up from Team Dignitas here, just probably at the start of tank picking. So I would have to predict probably triple AMX 1390, 416, maybe even a Pershing for these two teams.
Okay, so you're saying they're both going to go for the 416?
Yeah, I thought so. I mean,
it really has proven its place. Don't get me wrong.
It's certainly a good little tank. That
yeah.
It's as fast as an AMX 1390. It does more alpha damage. It's got 100 HP more. The only thing that really lets it down is its gun depression, and obviously the MX 1390 has an autoloader as well, which makes it a lot better in many situations.
Yeah.
But now we're just waiting on Virtus.pro's next tank pick. These guys do like to take their time. So they're just going to be thinking their way through each and every pick, making sure that everything accounted for, making sure they have the right ammo, the right crew skills, the right equipment. But indeed, going for an MX 1390 and a T69, whilst Team Dignitas going for the double T69 here. So both teams, so far, so good. Just the standard picks. A couple of MX 1390s, Virtus.pro have gone for 3. And a T69, and so has Team Dignitas. They've gone for 2, but 2 T69s as well. So I would say... And neither really has the better lineup. T32 coming up from Virtus.pro, a little bit unusual, definitely.
Not something we've seen a lot.
We haven't seen this before. Full stop. We've seen the triple IS3 come out from Team WD before, But the T-32, no. We've seen it on steps, which I guess is where you can draw parallels.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a questionable one. And normally it's you know the tank's really coming into its own when the likes of these guys do pick it up. They're not normally the ones to just try it out for the sake of it, especially in a game like this. But you know, maybe they found a place for it. Maybe Virtus Pro have a bit of a plan on the go here. Yeah,
it's going to be extremely interesting either way. I mean, Virtus Pro, as you said, definitely have a plan for this tank, and it'll just be about that execution of the plan at the end of the day that really defines which one takes it on Prokhorovka. But with the T-32, they're going to be probably sitting it down. They're playing from the south, maybe towards a village or just in that hill area, that basin, and just using that great turret armor, obviously almost 300 millimeters at 298 millimeters, just to try and do as much damage to those T-69s of Team Dignitas as possible. But you can say that Team Dignitas are definitely thinking about it. They're really considering their options right now, because they don't want to make any mistakes. The last time these two fought was at Go For What a week ago, and Virtus Pro actually came out ahead on that one. So you've got to be a little bit worried. And also the monthly finals have come up where these two are going to be fighting each other. That was delayed, so they still have to find the victor of that one in a best of 3. But last pick from Team Dignitas is going to be the Tier 8 medium tank, the T-69.
Yeah, so a little bit of a curious one from Virtus Pro. They're really pushing out the boat here, favoring that T-32 and going for a lot more 1390s in that in that lineup. And I can't wait to see that into effect. That T-32 really will be something that my eyes will be trained towards. Curious to see where they place it, where they want that to really come into its own. It certainly has its benefits, as you listed, but I still know it's an interesting one. It's a brave choice. These guys, face off against each other time and time again, and it's always been, going back and forth. So maybe this is what Virtus Pro have in store to maybe just kind of chip away at Team Dignitas early on and pick up the first map, which we know can be so important. Denova felt that brunt there as Oda Mortis did not allow them in on the first map. But here, I don't think either of these teams will be playing for the draw. There's certainly a little bit of rivalry between them. It's very hard at the top there. You want to get yourself at that very pinnacle point. Currently, it's Dignitas sitting in that first position and Virtus Pro following in second. Now, it won't exchange positions here, but it certainly will add a little bit of confidence beside whoever picks this one up, because these two will be in the next offline finals. So, guys, let's get our eyes trained towards that first video of Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, a large map at 1,000 by 1,000 meters which allows teams to stretch their legs and artillery to test their skills. There are 3 primary routes of attack: over the left tree road, the middle area and towards the town. The tree road is very open and flat but has a very large number of bushes and trees that provide good cover if you're not shooting. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. Both teams are fairly symmetrical and only offer small hills and bushes as cover. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. The railroad that splits the map has a large number of bushes running alongside it that provides good cover and the occasional route of attack in the village and hill area. Teams should look towards taking fast tanks and artillery as they complement each other on this expansive map.
So, welcome into the first map. As Joe kindly told us, it will be Prokhorovka. And in the north, it is going to be Team Dignitas in blue, facing off against the southern Virtus Pro. And what are we seeing so far from Team Dignitas?
So, Team Dignitas just heading up that middle section. Standard start for them, completely what we'd expect. Pavel, Garat, Armely, and Shanish all just going forwards, trying to get the initial damage down. The MX-39s won't have reload, but the T-69s do. And you can see the aggression of these two teams as they joust in the middle. Apal getting off worse, though. He takes one, but Breakneck getting one on, a couple on him even. He's down to 115. I don't think he really expected to get spotted there, but that's the T-32s. No camo value at all, becoming a real hindrance for the side of Virtus Pro.
Yeah, and I love this initial back and forth. Armely down fairly low, but Breakneck immediately gets it back. But these guys aren't stopping. They've pushed up fairly aggressively. Look at Just Cause and Delight here. Those 1390s are being put to work. They've crossed the F line where we normally see them dancing around, but they're going to retract a touch. Not going too aggressive. They don't want to give anything away. Virtus Pro, they've had their game plan kind of revealed right here, but still, they're going to have to play it out. as they intended. Oh, Carice just backing into Breakneck there. That's certainly not a tank you want to be taking on. It's a bit of a chunky one. But still, as you mentioned, no camo value. You're going to be seeing that one either way. So right now, WoT Pro playing it a little bit more defensively now. They've just kind of eased off, but they're still allowing those 1390s to get that scout on, try and find out where the opposition is. Just Cause heading towards the village. Atanch is going to position himself there and keep eyes on. He's spotted out Povil, so good bit of scouting work for him. He's doing the job early on.
And that was a perfect start from Team Dignitas. You know, Povil is trying to get some spots out as Just Cause. But, you know, I can't really fault Team Dignitas on this start. You know, a couple of minutes in, and they've already taken down a T32 towards more of like an AMX 3090 HP, even lower. So that HP advantage it had completely destroyed and gone. And that's going to give them a real shunt up here. And I think WoT Pro not playing the T32 quite to its strength. It's kind of sitting up as opposed to really being hulled down. And honestly, I thought they would also be heading towards the more right side as opposed to being where it is. Although Breakneck finally getting into a good position, hull down. That's why you can see Team Dignitas straight away running away from that situation. There's no way they want to be challenging that beast in a hull down, even if you're playing a T69, because even 250 penetration on the heat ammo won't penetrate the commander's copula. Well, very unlikely to penetrate the commander's copula, and that's exactly what they want to avoid. Povil, Armley, and Chanish are in a good position, but a couple of shots coming on to the buildings right in front of them, wanting to clear them out of the way. And now Team Dignitas just heading towards the village. They want to get themselves a new position.
Yeah, safer play from them. They do not want to be challenging Breakneck, as you mentioned. It's a smart bit of play, and now they're going to be, well, WoT Pro are going to have to be playing across the map. Entex and Breakneck both keeping eyes towards that village area. They have spread out Garat. Not going to be landing any shells just yet, however. But still, they've got to keep eyes on Dignitas. They've put all their tanks in one position, pretty much. Just Cause, Delight, Diver, and Kusok in that T1, just lining up down that one line. It's pretty much a clear run all the way through if they do decide to make something happen. But you can't just go all in on these maps. You can't just go for that flag rush. It does not work at all. And WoT Pro is certainly not the team to be doing something like that. Breakneck and Entex will be trying to get the connections, but nothing really coming to the good just yet.
Yeah, they haven't found any real tanks yet. And from now, I think it's pretty interesting to see these two play, because you can see the kind of mentality they have at the beginning, both trying to get the advantage in the positions, and then they play it polarized. Like many teams that before we saw Dinova and Odemort, is just go for that polarization straight away. One goes to one side, the other goes to the other side. Well, both these try and get the advantage and then make that play. Not really based on anything, but more just instinctive. Which positions provide the most cover, which positions allow them to push in, which positions allow them to make the best possible use of the map and also the HP and the tanks they have. So I would have thought Team Dignitas now can kind of sit back a little bit. WoT Pro on the more aggressive side of the map. It's very hard to push out from the city. I think the only viable option is really to push from the north, because if you can see you've got a lot more cover around here. From the south, it's a lot harder because you've got an open field, and if any tanks are sitting up here, you're pretty much a goner. Entex is going to be trying to peek over in this T69, and that's what these two teams are going to be doing for the next 2-3 minutes, perhaps, trying to get a little bit more HP into their favor, and then really find out where they can push and where the other team has the weak spot, because there's always one.
Yeah, and WoT Pro are looking for that one straight away. The likes of Delight and Diver, with Kusok leading it in that Tier 1, have made their way completely up that 1 and 2 line. They've got good presence towards the north side of the map now. They're trying to work out where the opposition is, where they're holding it, because they know there's a big chunk of Team Dignitas still very much alive and kicking. And they're just looking for that route through, that best option that's available to them. With 4 minutes and 47 seconds left, they certainly have the time to do it as well. And they've got a good idea where Dignitas are, at least for now, but still, it's that execution they're waiting for.
Yeah, it's what it all comes down to. I really do miss artillery on this map. I think it can break deadlock situations like we saw in this one, and also Dinova versus Odemort. If you can make that shot and really just punish your tier 8 down to a very low HP, it just gives your team such a boost forwards. Whereas now, it's extremely hard to push. If you're Team Dignitas, you push over across here, you can get crossfired from here, you can get crossfired from here. And if you're WoT Pro, you can push from either here or just further of each side. But you're still going to get crossfired by a team in a lot more cover. So it's extremely hard to push. It really makes it difficult. And as you can see, both these teams now just trying to get the advantage on that hull down position. So Breakneck taking one. Good little shot from Armley, 616 being the T32's HP right now. So he's down to about 40%, which I would say is extremely good. But still, he's got plenty to fight with if Team Dignitas do decide to push.
Yeah, and it was a really nice little bit of play between Armley and Pavel, then both appearing at the same time, keeping the attention of Breakneck towards that village where Pavel just landed that shell. It was beautifully played out, and it's what we kind of grow to expect from these guys. They're so well coordinated. We are seeing Just Cause now retracting, or actually extending towards the rest of his teammates, pushing up in that 1390, going further towards Entex and Breakneck. And we are just seeing WoT Pro on the move, trying to figure things out, try and work out what they can really do here. I mean, 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. If they don't intend to draw this one out, they certainly have to make their move soon. And we are seeing Entex actually breaking off a touch, going to more of a defensive posture, leaving just himself really on that defensive line. Breakneck not too far away either, but Just Cause is pushing up. And Armley's surely going to find that one out when he doesn't spot out that T69 that was joining Breakneck.
Yep, that's certainly true. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. And no other team really willing to push forwards at all. But I think it's going to be a matter of time. I mean, it's going to be about that one push, that one instinctive movement from probably WoT Pro, as they are the more aggressive team.
Well, just as you say that, I think you might be reading their minds. Just Cause is going on a little bit of a scouting mission once again. Get himself all the way up towards that 6 line where he might be coming head-to-head with someone if he goes over this hap-handedly. I can imagine he's going to be playing it safe. He's spotted out Arclid, so that's going to be the tier 1 down and out. But he did receive a little bit of damage, but still, they're chipping away at Dignitas, and they're just kind of paving a route if they do decide to go for it. With 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, they're going to have to start mobilizing soon if they do want to take this one, if they don't want to play out for the draw.
This is the standard move from the side of the left side of Prokhorovka. Always pushing up the north, trying to get the T1 down, and then you can move on from there. Maybe even look towards the middle, because what it does is it splits the other team. They have to look towards the north because they know that there's a lot of firepower there, but they can't really do much else. If they look left, then they split up the damage, they split up the way that the turrets are looking. That leaves the middle vulnerable. It leaves the southern place vulnerable as well. So WoT Pro just opening up the map a little bit, although they've taken a little bit damage. One of their MX-3090s now down to 790. That's Entex from a good shot from Shanish. But he's also taken one. He's down to 626, 628 even. So I think Team Dignitas, they can't really do that much apart from sit and wait.
Yeah, and that's the exact opposite of what WoT Pro are doing. They are moving up right towards the opposition's flag. Entex is getting up there. Kusok, Diver, Delight, and Just Cause now position themselves in a fairly offensive place. Only Breakneck being that linchpin right to the back, down by that F line, just holding back, holding carefully. Look at this firing line right now. We've got Just Cause, Diver, and Delight all waiting to peer up and over if they fancy it. They know there's tanks down there. With 50 seconds left on the board, it's all about their choices. Will they be going for it right now? There's the cap. Here's the peak. Delight, Diver, both going over, going for that little bit of just a cheeky peek down in case they can spot anyone out. But there's 1 minute and 31 left on that board. If they do decide to go for this, they've got to get more tanks in that cap point, but they just want to pull the hand of Dignitas. And look at the cohesion behind these guys. It's absolutely perfect. Just drawing out the fire, waiting for Dignitas to make the move. And are they even going to be going for it?
Yeah, well, they're trying to make a couple of shots. Shanish is making a couple. He's done 261 to Diver in the MX-3090, but Team Dignitas definitely on the rotate. They don't have to worry about the cap, but they have to worry about what tank they're going to push. Breakneck's on his own on 616. Garat, Pavel want to challenge him, as well as Armley. That's the weak link in WoT Pro. That won't give them the tier 8 point advantage they need, because it will just mean one of the tier 8 tier set T1 tanks go down. But now you can see WoT Pro's other hand. They've put 3 tanks in the cap.
Yeah, here comes that extended game, but the time has pretty much run out. It's going to be a draw. It's all even, all square. And, well, it was a close game between these two. It was close then.
It certainly was. You could see both the skill and the coordination of WoT Pro and Team Dignitas completely cancelling each other out. Prokhorovka, it's a hard map. It's a map we're considering, well, I think we should maybe look towards removing, because without artillery, without the T50-2, which no longer even exists in the game, you know, how can teams really break the deadlock very easily? Well,
you can't without putting yourself at a huge risk. There's no way to do it. As you mentioned, you know, WoT Pro went out on a limb to challenge down Breakneck, but that still would not have given him the advantage that they desperately needed. And it doesn't allow for teams to really get themselves back into this. Once they lose that initial advantage or they don't have the exchange that goes in one team's favor, both teams will go to the polarized positions, hold it out and wait, patiently unless they get those lucky connections or a couple of blind shots here and there. But, it is one of those maps that gets played out like that. And obviously these guys will be playing it safe. They do not want to go hap-handedly into this. They aren't going to be rushing things. Obviously there's 4 maps left. Losing the first one can give the opposition such an advantage and such a confidence boost. It's all about playing for the moments. And the next map will be Abbey. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch because I'm a big fan of Dignitas on this map. WoT Pro, I enjoy watching on Prokhorovka more. I think they can really shake things up. I wasn't too keen on that T32 in play, I've got to say it. Didn't really find its feet for me, at least there. I can see that it's a viable choice, but still, it wasn't ideal. But still, Abbey's a different beast. We saw a fantastic game last time around there. It was Mortis just pulling out all the stops. It was excellent play. If you ever want to learn how to play Abbey, there's certainly a VOD there for you guys. But on this one, who's got the upper hand here?
Well, Team Dignitas has beaten WoT Pro a number of times on Abbey, so I'd say on paper they do, but WoT Pro just have that ability just to control all elements of the map, and that's exactly what you need on this Abbey. It's such a complicated map. There's you've got to look after the middle area, you've got to look after towards that mountainside, the trench, the kind of roads between those as well. So there's 5, 6, 7 main routes of attack, and then you have all the routes between the buildings and the Abbey, and you have to look at a team that has a higher ground and all sorts of things. So I think WoT Pro is certainly good at that. They can get a win here, but these two are so close in terms of skill and just absolute synergy that it's impossible just to call one on one single map. It's just about which one plays better on the day. But tank picking has begun. We can jump into that. We got double T1 and for both teams. So just starting off with the normal tanks at the start, which we'd expect. 5100 probably going to come into the equation, but with the kind of hull down positions you need on Abbey, the T69 is going to be the dominant tank, and it certainly looks like what it's going to be here. So double T69 for Team Dignitas, double T69 for WoT Pro as well, getting those 2 Tier 8 American medium tanks out the way straight away.
Yeah, and do you think we're going to see a 5100 come into play here?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. We saw how well it worked for Mortis last time. It had that real amazing 1 versus 1, and the MX-3090 just didn't stand a chance at all. Nope. The only way it could have won is if the 5100 just failed miserably, missed 2 shots, even 3 shots, and then the MX-3090 is 38 seconds reload, while the 5100 is about a 48-second reload. So that would have been the only way it could win, but it's a really hard call. But now it's WoT Pro's turn to pick. They're going to pick a double AMX. Oh, Team Dignitas first. Team Dignitas turn to pick. The double AMX-3090 is going to be their pick. So far, 2 T1s, 2 T69s, 2 MX-3090s. That's going to go for WoT Pro as well. So just a mirrored lineup at the start. It's usually towards those last 2 picks we're getting towards now that you see the kind of interesting picks coming out. So the 5100 is going to be that for Team Dignitas, as it will be for WoT Pro. So both teams with a triple MX-3090, double MX-3090, double T69, double T1, and that nice little 5100 at the end. Yeah, so it will all come down to that team play synergy, to the strategy, to the just genuine mechanics these individual players have, and we saw it really coming into effect on the last map. This time it's not going to be so easy to draw out. Abbey is certainly a different beast. Let's get you that video lined up and ready.
Welcome to Abbey, a hard but gratifying map to master. Abbey is 1,000 by 1,000 meters and has 3 main routes of attack. The left mountainous area, through the Abbey in the middle, or in the trench to the right. The housed Abbey area in the middle, the winding trench road, and the treacherous mountainous area. The Abbey area can be moved upon on a central road. Often the 2 teams battle it out for the higher ground. The mountainous area often sees intense action as it overlooks the Abbey and provides key access to the enemy's base. The base area can also be accessed via the trench and is a common route of attack. It is essential to defend your base. Teams must pay close attention to their tank setups and in particular how they utilize them to greatest effects on what is a very complicated map.
So, welcome to the second map. It will be Abbey, and in the south, it's WoT Pro, and in the north, it's Team Dignitas. Both going head-to-head here, both El Clasicos at this one, and they are damn good at it. Now, what are we seeing from the start here from Team Dignitas?
So the same start as we saw from Dinova, pretty much putting all their tanks up towards the mountainside. That's Apwell, Garat, Armley, Shanish, and Povil. The only ones out on a limb are those two T1s. So exactly the same start from Dinova. Just question if Team Dignitas has copied Dinova, or it's the other way around. I think it's probably the other way around. They love, looking at the other teams and finding what really works. It didn't work last time, but WoT Pro also going for the same tactic, just from the south, pushing all their tanks up towards the mountainside, getting the better positions at the beginning just because of the way the map works in terms of spawns. Those two MX-39s having a good sight down that road, but the gun depression certainly doesn't help. That's why Povil can punish him, but he gets responded straight away. He's down to 1099, but just cause he has a lower HP pool, he definitely came out worse on 883.
Yeah, but then again, the information gathered is absolutely key there as well. Breakneck and Just Cause will be sticking out in this position. Diver in his 1390 did reposition earlier on. Look at Entex flying straight back up there. He's not going to allow this one to go through. But Karitz and the other tier 1 are exchanging, and they have both spotted each other out there in that central Abbey. But still, it is all about what is going to be going down towards this area. WoT Pro, Dignitas facing off. Who's got the advantage right now?
I would say neither. They both have pretty similar positions. But I guess the most interesting thing about Team Dignitas' position is these two guys, the two MX-3090s, the Wolfpack, Apwell, and Garat. It's always interesting seeing Garat in a light tank, just because he is, a guy I really associate with the T32 and such. But these two guys are just ready to stop anything that comes along here from WoT Pro. But what it also means is that they kind of left these guys on their own. But that doesn't really matter, because they got the 5100 there, which provides so much firepower, a little bit more HP than the T69 as well. It can work in unison beautifully. Povil now starting to push forwards. This is the charge from Team Dignitas. They want to play aggressively. They want to catch WoT Pro on any kind of rotate they can. Armley challenging. Breakneck coming back with one. Neither connecting, though. And I think now Team Dignitas have pushed forwards. They might have already overextended. They can't really come back at this point. They just got to commit and see what happens.
Yeah, Just Cause is there. Entex now has joined up as well. Breakneck did receive a bit of a shell, didn't take any damage, but it did, I believe, take away his observation device. So at least a little bit of damage caused in the long run, but still, it's not the ideal impact they wanted. But Dignitas are not stopping. They are starting the execution right now. Entex has received another shell, as is Breakneck. Dignitas only leaving Povil really to take the damage at the moment. These three tanks completely focused here, and they're waiting to see if WoT Pro are going to take the bait and push forward, because there's that little bit of a split going on for Garat and Apwell. Round the rear we go as Diver and Delight firing them down. Garat gets a massive bit of damage, as does Apwell. They're going low. Just Cause and Breakneck backing away, and that's perfect timing. Just Cause slams down Garat. Entex focusing down Apwell, and the Wolfpack has been tamed, and WoT Pro can now put their eyes back towards the bigger tanks right here. Armley has found one. Shanish took down Delight there, actually, excuse me, but it's Entex challenging back up. Stunning shot onto Armley. That T69 just doing work right now. Just Cause laying in wait, hoping for that chance to come back around. He wants to challenge down Povil and Shanish right here. Breakneck so low though, 43 HP. He cannot go in haphazardly. He needs to play safe. He needs to play smart, because Dignitas are ready and willing to push on this one, and Just Cause feels the brunt of that.
All they need to do is just wait on that reload. That's what WoT Pro is doing. Quite a lot of their tanks on low HP, but the MX-39 is 20-30 seconds till they can reload. Then those T69s are going to be absolute bait. They're going to have no problem ripping through those two. And that was just poor execution from the side of Team Dignitas. The two MX-3090s, first of all, they overextended, and second of all, the tanks on the top didn't push in at the same time. So it allowed WoT Pro to basically just to push around, take down the two MX-3090s, use the cover behind the hill to the greatest they can, and then deal with the tanks coming from the top. And that was really tanks 101 from them. And Shanish is challenging.
Yeah, Shanish going in on a much better HP pool than Just Cause. That has allowed him to take down Breakneck, that T69 just behind them. Just Cause needs to play safe right now. He's got two tanks staring him down. Diver has come across, so at least he's got some support here. But Entex splitting off from that T69 could really cause some damage. Shanish is only on 72 HP. That would be light work for Entex right now. Just Cause and Diver just need to keep their attention right there, as Entex will be coming around, but Povil's done the damage. But here comes Entex, evening up the score. Kusok has even won that tier 1 battle, as Povil now gets his damage dealt towards him. miss, Diver to land the killing blow, and Virtus Pro just dealing with Dignitas one by one. This is their game to win. There's no way back in here from Dignitas.
You gotta love how these two teams just don't bother with any kind of city put. They like their city kind of tactics, you know.
They do. They really
like
do.
that engagement. They don't really care about the clever stuff WoT Mortis do. They just want to see who wins the firefight. Obviously, that was Virtus Pro by some margin, although you could see the real player skill coming in at the end. The T69's finishing off 2 tanks. So just a nice, superb bit of play from Virtus Pro. Reactionary play. It was really good stuff. They saw the 2 MX-3090s on their own. They pushed down, took care of them, no problem at all. Then they deal with the guys on the top. And I think there's no real way they could have played that perfectly. I think for Team Dignitas, they had the 2 options of either sending the guys in from the top in first or the guys at the bottom in first. Personally, you know, I think the guys from the top would have been better. The MX-3090s would have come in unspotted, and then it would have been a little bit better result. But to be honest, Virtus Pro could have got rid of both.
Yeah, Virtus Pro dealt with that really well. They were smart, they were clinical, they didn't allow the threat to really get to them, and that's what I like about Virtus Pro. They are that clinical team, and we saw it then. There was absolutely stunning stuff from them, and the last player did fall then, and it was Arclit drowning, actually, in a Tier 1, which is beautiful stuff. But still, no, Virtus Pro then, I loved it. It's a rarity, though, to see Dignitas executing poorly. That's the difference in my eyes. It was, as you said, it was a bit one by one. They sent their 2 1390s pretty much alone, and then the backup was a little bit late to the party, to say the least. But, you know, the T69 play coming in from, I believe it was Entex, just to finish off those tanks, was really nicely in unison with the rest of the team. And they kind of showed Dignitas how to do it if they decided they wanted to. So, all credit to Virtus Pro then. Really well played, nicely executed. That's the kind of caliber I expect from them. And they certainly did it just then. But the next map, I don't know. It's going to be Ruinberg. It's a little bit of a different beast there. And we've seen Virtus Pro showing that they are human on this one as well. So Dignitas certainly have a chance here to do some damage.
Yeah, they certainly do. I think Team Dignitas a little bit better on this map. Both teams really opting for the middle engagement, looking towards that village. Neither really like the city. Although that kind of split push with the MX-500 and the MX-3090 going over towards the city, the F-line, getting the shots onto the side of the T69s in the middle. That's a really nice thing, actually inspired by Kazaku at the beginning, but tank picking has begun, so we can just hop over to that. It started with Team Dignitas taking 2 T1s, as we would expect. Probably going to be mirrored by the Virtus Pro guys as well, who have taken 2 T1s. So just a standard start. Probably going to be seeing 150, 100 in here, perhaps 2. But other than that, the T69, the MX-3090, definitely the stronger tanks, especially the T69. Usually the teams only pick 1 MX-3090 for that initial spot because it won't have reload, whereas the T69 has both the gun depression and also the reload to get the damage off in the middle.
Yeah, and they are fairly discussing things here. They're not rushing these picks at all. Currently, obviously, Virtus Pro are up in the advantage. They've picked up 1 map here. The first map was a draw. Now, Ruinberg, as you said, it's certainly a stronger-ish map for Dignitas. It's very hard to say there's a weakness for either of these teams. It's by margins, really, more than anything. And Dignitas certainly looking like they want to bring it back, if anything. They've got to work on that execution. It's so rare to see the likes of Applewell not shining in these, and it's what's coming into effect, and he's just being outplayed a little bit in the last one. But still, it is a rarity. I can imagine it's a little bit of a kick up the arse more than anything in the next map. He'll go, okay, let me sort this out. Let me do the damage I'm good at. And I think the tank picks are continuing. Yeah,
we've got an MX-3090 and a T69 from both Virtus Pro and Team Dignitas. Now Virtus Pro going for the double T69. So to be expected, you know, a real emphasis on the T69 and 1 MX-3090 for that initial spot. Probably going to be mirrored by Team Dignitas in the next pick. They are 1 map down for the worst. Prokhorovka was a draw. Then we saw Abbey just really coming out for Virtus Pro. That just instinctive play really benefiting them. That's what you get when you play together so much. You have so much experience. You have so many good players in your team. It's absolutely fantastic to see. But just waiting for Team Dignitas to pick their next couple of tanks. As I said, probably 2 T69s or maybe 1 MX-400, 1 T69. It just depends on which order these guys want to pick these tanks in. Yeah. But it's been an interesting game so far. I mean, this is best of 5, so a team's got to win at least 3 maps, or you know, if it comes down to it, just win 1 more map. It doesn't really matter which way you look at it. But Team Dignitas, they have 2 wins and 10. They have 11 wins, 2 losses, and they're definitely the stronger team this season. They've been a lot better with the way they've executed. They've beaten Virtus Pro already 3-2 in Matchday 7. So on paper, they're the stronger team. But so far, Virtus Pro definitely been a little bit more aggressive. They've been ready for everything Team Dignitas wants to throw at them. You could see then they had all the kind of bases covered. They had the 5100 in the perfect position, and Diver with the 5100 is pretty much unstoppable. He's really improved as a player. I think when he was playing for Red Rush Unity, he was a little bit lackluster for their team, but he's gotten so much better. So big props to that guy. Really good guy as well. Yeah, definitely a brain to have in your team. But yeah, we're just looking forward towards the Team Dignitas next pick. What do you think they're going to take?
I actually have no idea. And even Virtus Pro are like, I don't know what you guys are doing. They're clearly discussing something. They're trying to go through everything possible to, you know, make sure all the bases are covered. Obviously, after the last game, when their execution was slightly poor, they don't want to be going forward with anything other than the absolutely best choices possible for their players. And with such caliber of players, they are, you know, extremely diligent and extremely good at it. But still, it's an interesting one to kind of put your finger on. This map does allow for a little bit of movement, but still, I think we're seeing the usual picks.
Yeah, we're seeing the MX-3090 and the T69 from Team Dignitas. It's their next big tank, and pretty much mirrored by the Virtus Pro guys. Just a good little thing from them, and I think we'd expect that from them. We have to look if these two teams are going to be looking towards the village.
Yeah, we'll have to find out if they do. We do see a couple of picks coming through. I think it's the T69 there and that 1390 for Dignitas, and a 5100 for Virtus Pro in a little bit of a retort. So a little bit of a, you know, they're liking that 5100 in the picks there, and it's Delight who'll be championing that one. So interesting choice there for him. He's certainly diligent with it, certainly talented with it. And we're actually seeing a 416. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, we're seeing a 416 from Dignitas. That's very strange, actually. We've never seen this from any team before on Ruinberg, I think. Maybe once before, or even that. So we really have to see how that one comes in, because I think Team Dignitas are starting from the south, so they're probably going to look over towards the village, use that alpha damage to come into its own and just catch the side of Virtus Pro. And really, if they can do that, like we saw with the MX-3090s do it before, then they're going to be in some serious trouble. But that 416 is such a situational tank. It can be either superb or it can just be absolutely awful, whereas the MX-3090 and the T69s, which are definitely more tried and tested, they're always good. You know, if you play it bad, then you just played bad as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, and obviously this is taking their time. Dignitas clearly having to play catch-up here. Virtus Pro, you know, absolutely on point. Dignitas trying to work things out, I guess, last minute, but it's a little bit of a rarity to see Dignitas not prepared. I do remember, you know, the phrase coming out from Odie, you know, fail to prepare, prepare to fail, and all that jazz. So it's a little bit of a shame to see Dignitas not quite prepared in this one yet. So hopefully they can sort themselves out and get this last choice underway. So far, I'm not sure what to make of these lineups right now. That 416, I like it, but do you really think it's, you know, coming into effect this time?
We're just going to have to wait. I think that's the end of the day. If it does work, then I think we'll see a lot more on this map.
So currently, it's Virtus Pro with one map up to the good. This is the third map. The first was a draw. So Ruinberg will define if Dignitas can bring this back all even and take it into that really, really hard fourth map where one team will have to break ahead. It's all going to come down to this. If Virtus Pro get the lead here, though, they're such a good team once they get that confidence and that momentum beside them. And, well, I can only wait to see what they can bring here. Dignitas certainly looking a little bit shakier than usual. Normally I back them to the absolute hills, but right now they're going to be put to the test here on Ruinberg.
Ruinberg is one of our newest city maps, and it's fairly large, being 800 by 800 meters. There are three main routes of attack: the roads leading to the city, the road going through the middle, and the village area. Each of these have two important areas to control. The city has very large roads and plenty of opportunities for teams to flank. The long roads also provide for good sniping areas as well as corner shooting. Teams often push through the village area, and once controlled, the team can move on to the enemy's base. You should pick heavy tanks with high alpha damage for corner sniping, as well as a faster tank for the middle spot.
So, welcome into the third map here in the north. It will be Virtus Pro facing off against Dignitas in the south in blue. So, I'm looking forward to see what we can bring on this one, because Dignitas certainly need to sort something out, because they're looking a little bit shaky compared to their usual selves.
Yeah, but they got to use that 416, and I can't wait to see how they utilize that one. But sending the tanks up towards the middle, it's Shanish first, Pavel. and Garat as well at Apple are all just heading up there. They're going to be trying to get this position. 2 TC9s in there, but it looks like Virtus Pro pipped them to the post there. The 416 going up towards the F road, trying to get the side shots on. Maybe even go for the MX-1390. But an MX-1390 versus the T416 even, the 416 will certainly not be the victor of that. It can't quite do as much burst damage, that's to say the very least. And Arclit getting completely punished straight away. Just Cause also taking down Arm Lee. So straight away you can see Virtus Pro's dominance coming into effect.
Yeah, Virtus Pro looking very strong right now. There's the other tier 1 falling. Just Cause slams that down. So huge advantage now to Virtus Pro. And well, you're going to only hope that they can hold on to it because Challenge is taking an absolute pounding, being sent back to the starting blocks as Povel is taken out to 800 HP as well. Arclit did take down Delight in that 5100, so that 416 really come into play, but there's the reply. Entex coming back in onto Shanish, but Applewell straight away there in the 1390. Breakneck's out. Diver now being pushed forward. He has to make these challenges count. Povel backing away, readjusting. Just Cause focusing him down. 2v1 situation now. They're going to be trying to pull these guys out of those ideal positions. They're making Arclit come around as well. Entex is joining this one, and he's going to be focusing down towards that 416. If he gets around behind them, he's done just that. Just Cause, Diver, and Entex. Now, oh my god, he's been set on fire. Entex is in an awful position. He's been punished by Team Dignitas. Diver switching around, however, has found Povel in that T69. Looking towards Arclit now. He's not going to be going down without a fight, however. But look at the situation. Dignitas are on the back foot, but the damage still rolling in their favor. Just Cause needs to land these shots and make it fast because Garat is hot on his heels. And now here comes the fire. Here comes the pain. Diver sent away on 92 HP. But oh my word, Arclit has taken down Just Cause in that 416. And now Just Diver really with anything left on this plate. He's got Garat facing him down. He's got Arclit as well. He's not going to hope in hell. And now just the tier 1s left alive. Dignitas have done their job. They've made that 416 work. It's picked up 3 kills, and it looks like it might want 2 more.
Perfect little 416 play from Arclit. Got to give him props for that one. Really showing why that 416 can work on Ruinberg. We've never seen it before, but now I think we'll see it a lot more. Good stuff from them.
Certainly.
Perfect execution, but I think Team Dignitas, what they did there so perfectly is they saw Virtus Pro's what they were going to do. They saw the normal play from them, and they saw Just Cause took out their 2 T1s, more of a distraction than anything else. So those 2 T1s basically took 2 shells from Just Cause. That took his maximum shell damage down by 600 from 1,800 to 1,200. That allowed Applewell and Garat and those 2 MX-39s to get behind. Just absolutely obliteration from them. Then the T69's challenge in the middle. They did a lot of damage. They allowed those 2 MX-39s to take down the T69, which was already on low HP. And then from there on out, once the 5100 of Just Cause had been dealt with, which was the main real emphasis for Virtus Pro. So once he was out, they had almost no chance of getting back into it on. Just nice little play from Team Dignitas. Nothing too, outrageous, but just perfect thinking.
Yeah, really smart stuff from them. Clearly taking Abbey as the red rag to the bull and really stepping up their game because they did look shaky before, but they didn't then. So it's a little bit of a... It's a hard one to call because these guys now are all even. We're going into the 4th map, which will be Himmelsdorf in a moment, and it's very hard to define who's going to be that team to edge ahead here because, Abbey was so Virtus Pros, it was unbelievable. They nailed the execution, they dealt with Dignitas on every front, but then Ruinberg was just Dignitas to a T, so it's so hard to pip one ahead. And Prokhorovka, I don't think we can really take much away from. Both played it correctly to the positions. So Himmelsdorf will be one of the defining ones. And who do you think's got the stronger gameplay here? Because I do remember last time they met up, Dignitas actually won on this map with some great tier 1 play, really being about 3 steps ahead of Virtus Pro on it. So do you think maybe they've learned from that last mistake?
Yeah, I hope so. But I mean, Virtus Pro like their strange pushes at the beginning of Himmelsdorf, right? Which doesn't seem to work too well. So
it's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, I think it's to say the very least a hit and miss tactic for them. So if they play it just a little bit more cool and stay backwards, use the T1s to get the information, then use them to create the extra dimension, and then they can certainly beat Team Dignitas. But if they don't do that, Team Dignitas certainly have a lot of strong heavy tanks players. You've got Arclit in there. So I honestly think on Himmelsdorf, it's absolutely, it's 50-50 completely. There's nothing really to separate them. It's just these 2 teams have this map down to a T. They've been playing it for so long. They know exactly how it's played. And we're just going to have to wait and see which one is actually better today. So tank picking has begun. We can jump into that one with 2 T1s from both Team Dignitas and Virtus Pro. That's what we'd expect. So the only thing you should really be looking out for on this map, Himmelsdorf, is which team picks 3 5100s, 2 IS3s, or which team picks 2 5100s and 3 IS3s. Just that switcheroo between the 5100 and the IS3. But for starters, Team Dignitas with the double 5100, that's probably going to be mirrored by Virtus Pro, or they might pick an IS3 and a 5100, or we might even see a 110 in here. I think it's quite unlikely, but just because obviously the 110 is like maybe 5% more likely to be picked because of the nerfs to the IS3's turret and just the commander's the driver's hatch in 8.9. But IS3 5100 for Virtus Pro. Probably going to be the double IS3 for Team Dignitas, the next pick. But I think, which team do you really think is going to look towards the hill a little bit more? We saw Virtus Pro love their hill tactics like D-Nova, where they put at least 2 on there and a T1. But which team do you really think is going to be the better there?
I can't even define it with these two because it's all situational. It all comes down to the moment. You know, one team on, you know, maybe a different day can define it. One team can really excel there, but who it's going to be it's literally like a pick in the dark. You can't split these two, and I don't want to put my name out there with any of these guys right now because they're both so good at it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Double IS3 for Team Dignitas, IS3 5100 for Virtus Pro. So at the moment, these two teams completely neck and neck in terms of lineups, exactly mirrored. Now we're heading towards a last tank pick. Maybe a Pershing if we're lucky, but I think it's probably going to be the IS3 or the 5100. Obviously, this is what we'd expect. If you played this new mode, 7 vs 7 mode on 8.9, it's one of the strongest lineups. Obviously, Wargaming in the future patches are going to be implementing for teams to be able to see the next map they're going to play, so they can pick maps based on that, with tanks based on that. So that's going to be really interesting and a really good feature when we see that one come. So 5100's last pick from Team Dignitas, IS3 for Virtus Pro, making Team Dignitas' lineup a triple 5100, double IS3, double T1, and for Virtus Pro, just that switcheroo, the triple IS3, double 5100, double T1.
Yeah, so choices being made there, and I believe everyone is almost ready to get underway, but let's have a little recap in mind here. Obviously, it is all even. The first map was drawed out. That was Prokhorovka. No team wanted to, take that risk. Fair play. Then Abbey went in favor to Virtus Pro just because of poor execution possibly on Dignitas' behalf. But then Ruinberg, Dignitas took the advantage, they took the initiative, and they really damn well ran with it. That 4-1-6 was a beautiful bit of insight. But right now in Himmelsdorf, we're seeing the standard lineups. We are seeing these guys going back to basics and seeing them really in their element. So guys, we are almost ready for the defining map here to see who's going to edge ahead and get that one bit of an advantage they need to go forward. So guys, let's get Himmelsdorf ready to go.
Himmelsdorf is the city maps of city maps. It's a small one, being 600 by 600 meters. There are 3 routes of attack: the hill, the banana, and the train side. The middle area is relatively easy to push, however can end up in disaster as you can be flanked from every side. The road, often called banana, allows for direct head-on assaults but requires a lot of resources. Both the railroad area and the road next to it are good routes of attack, being very open and straight. However, for those very same reasons, you can be easily caught out and taken down. The map features many densely housed areas, which provides good places for engagements and routes of attack. Teams must be aware of the various routes their opponents can take through the map, as well as the hull-down positions enemies can take throughout the entire map. The trick with Himmelsdorf is to catch an enemy tank unsupported by his teammates and then use that advantage to collapse on the entire enemy team.
So, welcome to the 4th map here. It's going to be Himmelsdorf, the classic map. And we are seeing Virtus Pro starting in the north in that gold and yellow, facing off against Dignitas in the south in blue. And you asked me the question of who's going for the hill. Right now, it's going to be Virtus Pro sending a massive amount of the team there, but what are Dignitas up to? Well,
it seems like they're predicting that one because they've sent Arclit extremely aggressive up that 8 line, the banana road. He's going to be getting the hull down position. He's actually found out Karitz, but that's going to be returned by Karitz. He's found out Arclit. So both teams have a good amount of information. Team Dignitas must know that Virtus Pro can't be around that banana road, but generally their tank spread is pretty interesting. They got 2 tanks up here instead of here. 1 tank here instead of here, and then they sent a T1 and a 5100 up towards that hill. So an interesting start from them for sure. Virtus Pro, they've heading, as you said, most of their tanks up the hill, the 3 5100s, the IS3 there as well, and a couple of T1s spread out towards the spotting places. So I would say we saw Odomortis play really defensively from that northern position. Virtus Pro certainly not the defensive team. They're really wanting to sit back, while pushing up the hill, and then just use that speed they have on the hill just to get off, get on the rotate, find a weak spot in Team Dignitas. But honestly, it also leaves them vulnerable to other positions.
Yeah, it does indeed. And as you mentioned, the fact that Dignitas already again themselves positioned to really start pushing if they do fancy it. And actually, this is interesting. WoT Pro are retracting back. They're not sticking around up here.
Yeah, it's because a whole of Team Dignitas are just heading up towards the middle. Pavel's going forward. Stalker is there first, though. I think Team Dignitas are looking towards the cap. They know that WoT Pro's on the hill. That's that prediction. They know exactly what the other team is doing without even really spotting them. They spotted 150-100 up there. So perfect stuff from them. Imagine if they didn't know that. They got caught out. They got taken down. But Garat's taken up the initial point position. He's going to be the one taking the most damage if it does come down to a firefight. WoT Pro know what Team Dignitas are doing. That's why they're heading back. Breakneck's there. He was there to try and deal with the Street Army. Gets punished. 1-2-2-5. But really, I think at the moment, WoT Pro don't have to worry too much because Team Dignitas kind of have a couple of tanks out on the limb.
Yeah, but look at Arclick in a perfect crossfire position as well. Comes back in, takes Breakneck down fairly low. He's going to receive another shell, however, back towards him. And these guys are not going for the head-on challenge. They're going to be focusing on Arclick first of all, picking up that one tank on his own until Applewell appeared on the horizon. That could thwart the plan initially. And now here comes the exchange. It's Just Cause. Gets a good connection onto Arclick. Going to ignore him for a second, come around the side. But 7 seconds left on the clock. They need to get back down towards that point and actually reset this. They've just about done it on the absolute last possible moment. Kusok coming in, 5 seconds left as well. These guys are going all out at the moment. 1 second left. Can they reset this at all? I do believe just by the last second, Dignitas might have just done that.
They have done it indeed. That was a fantastic, literally textbook play by Team Dignitas. Just that you're really using all their tanks, putting them in the cap and just taking it out. Brilliant little capping play by Team Dignitas. Obviously, this game is a little bit delayed sometimes. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 seconds. That's why you didn't see that. But Team Dignitas did win it. And that was nice for them. I think what's quite interesting about that is we haven't seen that movement for a while. A lot of teams have been shying away from it because it was countered. Yep. But Team Dignitas just bring it in when the other team least expects it. And they're not shy to do it at all. As soon as they learn that WoT Pro's up on the hill, push in, try for the move. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But it worked perfectly. The T1's in the background. The AMX-5100 there just to stop anything pushing in. And although Entek set the 5100 alight, he didn't hit the tanks that were actually capping. And then Applewell and Arclit on the side of the flank. Perfect positions to deal with that tanks pushing up down from the hill. And once again, Team Dignitas managing to beat WoT Pro on Himmelsdorf. Great stuff.
And it's just a credit to how much they really anti-strat the other team. They knew WoT Pro were going to be on that hill. And it was seconds of going, okay, let's start that push. It was just so well done and immediately positioned themselves to deal with the way they're going to be coming from. Applewell sitting back, holding them up, and really, that was just so well played by Dignitas. That's how you read the opposition, and that's why people put in so much work as well towards this game. You learn what the opposition's up to, you have such an advantage, and you can see Dignitas just using it there. It's 2-1 currently. Dignitas picking up the advantage now. They are in the lead, and well, it all comes down to this. The final map will be Steps, and I believe they're just about ready to get towards those tank picks. Just tier 1's being chosen so far, so no massive assumptions here. But let's look towards Steps as a map itself. Dignitas with the advantage here. All WoT Pro can hope for is a draw now. And is this a map they can really do it on?
Yep, I think Steps is certainly WoT Pro's map. They're so good at this one. They've beaten Na'Vi on it. They've beaten Team Dignitas. They've beaten all the big dogs before, so they can certainly do it again. But at this point in time, the pressure is all on them. And if they can really just stand up to that pressure, then I think they're going to do all right. But if Team Dignitas just create some niggling annoyances, just really put a thorn in the side of WoT Pro, then I can't see how they're going to win that one in this respect. But a draw is better than a loss for sure. And going 2-0 down against, if WoT Pro go 2-0 down against Team Dignitas, that does kind of suggest of what could happen in the offline finals.
It really does. It does lend a hand to it. But then again, I've learned not to read too much into online World of Tanks. You get them to the offline events, they all suddenly become hyperactive and decide to fly around the maps. But these two, they're a level above that almost. They are a team that, well, both of these are teams of such caliber that they really can change up their gameplay and also play that also very cautious and passive style if they have to. And you certainly see it. They've got their execution on the fast maps, if they need it. They've also got the tail-down patience and the discipline to pull off when it must. And I'm looking to see how WoT Pro play this one out, because obviously it's all eyes on them now. Dignitas pretty much have the game in hand. The worst they can do is draw now. But how do you think WoT Pro are going to go about this? Are they coming out guns blazing? Are they going to be careful? Are they going to try and catch Dignitas out? What sort of strategy do you think they're going to run?
I think they're going to come out guns blazing. You know, we've seen, apart from Prokhorovka, every single time, these teams are not really about playing passively because they think they're going to draw or lose. They're aggressive from the get-go because they have a tactic, they have a strategy, they have a plan. And they just want to execute that plan to the best of their ability, and that will get them a win if they do that. They have all the brains in the world, they have the players to do it. It's just about getting it down to a T. So AMX 1390 times 2 for the side of WoT Pro to start us off with. Double T1 from WoT Pro as well in there. But T1 and a light tank. I believe that's the T2 light from Team Dignitas, and that is a T2 American premium tank. So that is really interesting. We saw it a lot in Season 1, a little bit in Season 2. But it was used because of artillery. Let's say a Lorraine 15551 is Tier 7. That basically gave you 1 point to use on another tank of T2 variety. So you took the T2 as well as that T1. So very interesting stuff. This could mean an artillery for Team Dignitas.
Wow.
It could mean a T71 for Team Dignitas. It could mean any kind of Tier 7 tank. But it's questionable because obviously the T1s on Prokhorovka, on steps even, not particularly useful. They usually just get destroyed by blind shots in the first couple of minutes. If they're used for anything, a little bit of spotting information, maybe a couple in the cap like we saw in the previous game, Dinova against Odin Mortis, but generally nowhere near as useful as, say, Himmelsdorf. Double AMX 3090 for Team Dignitas is their next pick, and it's their big tanks coming out as we would expect. I think we're going to see a Pershing from WoT Pro, a T69 as well, but so far they picked another T69, another AMX 3090, and now looking towards Team Dignitas to pick their next couple of tanks.
Yeah, and when do you think that RT pick will come in if they're actually going to go for it?
Last pick.
Really?
Yep.
Just complete
because that
element of
keeps their
surprise.
options open. That says to WoT Pro we can either pick a Tier 7, anything, or a Tier 7 artillery. So they keep all their options open there. Doesn't mean that they're not going to pick it in the next few picks. But the MX, the T69 and the 416 is going to be Team Dignitas' next couple of tanks. But the 416 is a mainstay on steps, so to be as expected. T69 also, you know, it's such a strong tank for altogether. Absolutely love that beast, especially with heat ammo. Pershing last pick from WoT Pro. Now this is where things get interesting. What is Team Dignitas going to pick as well? Actually, I think okay, my bad. The LT is actually the lull tractor, so it's a Tier 1, so they only have to pick a Tier 8. It's not particularly useful to call it the LT since the T2 light is a light tank as well, so it could be anything. But Pershing is going to be last pick from Team Dignitas, making their lineup the same as WoT Pro's, apart from a 416. WoT Pro, though, triple AMX 3090 Pershing, T69 double T1. Team Dignitas, double AMX 3090 416 Pershing, double T1, and a T69.
Yeah, interesting choices coming out. The 416, it got played beautifully on Ruinberg. I want to see if they can do something similar on steps. So it's going to be a treat here. Now this is what it comes down to. Similar to the first game, WoT Pro need this just to get a draw. They are sitting in second position, so you don't really want to allow Dinova to get anywhere close to you. But bearing in mind, they drew out that first game as well. They're not too worried, I can imagine now, but still, they want the victory here, and as do Dignitas. So let's find out if they're going to do it on steps.
Steps is the other open map in the map pool, being 1,000 by 1,000, having no urban areas. There are three primary routes of attack: the trench, the rocky area to the left, and the middle road. The road offers direct routes to the enemy's base, but despite having a staggering amount of cover along the way, you are vulnerable to attack from all sides. The trench area provides for great engagements as it's only a few hills and rocks to cover the teams. Most of the engagements occur around this rock, the winner of which gains a crucial foothold on the map. The rocky left area provides the most cover for attacking and defending teams. It's essential that you pick tanks that can traverse from one side of the map to the other rapidly. They also must be able to get to the various key locations as quickly as possible. That is the key to victory.
So, welcome to the last map here. It's going to be an absolute cracker. WoT Pro have it all to do now. If they want the victory, they've got to go for this one. They have to at least draw this one out to get at least a point on the board. So they will be starting in the north in the gold and yellow, and in the south, it's going to be Dignitas in blue. And what are we seeing so far here?
Well, Team Dignitas, really unusual start, pushing out their tanks towards the mountains. We've never, ever, ever seen this before. It seems like I've said that a lot today, but teams seem to be breaking the meta of these maps so often. Shanish, he's taken up a bush position, Arclit in the background. Obviously, that 416 probably in the better sniping position they can possibly get him into. Apo up there for the spots. That's the MX-3090's ability to just get out of bad situations very quickly. But that's pretty much Team Dignitas' plan right now. They know all they have to do is to draw this one out to get the win. They're 2 maps up to the good against 1 map for Virtus Pro, 1 draw for both teams. Stalker's playing the low tractor. That's because you can see that kind of beastly gun, I guess you can call it. That can really do some serious damage to an MX-3090 or even a Pershing in the back in a T69. It's got good penetration. It's got good damage, about 50. So it would just work away, you know, after 10 seconds, 200 damage easily. Virtus Pro heading over towards the trench side, a completely standard tactic from the north, just getting as much information as possible. You can see how aggressive that MX-3090 is. He's going to get spotted out very quickly. I think he could also be in some trouble if the side of Team Dignitas can train their guns on him, get a couple of shots, but he might be just out of line of sight. But it's a good start from Virtus Pro. It's an aggressive start is what we'd expect from them. And it's just about if they can find out that strong tactic from Team Dignitas, that very defensive tactic from Team Dignitas early on.
Yeah, indeed, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they actually go about that, because it'd take a really gutsy move to get anywhere near that position. Usually we might see a tier 1 edging towards that mountainous area. I can imagine it's going to be Karitz if anyone does discover them straight away, but Kusok's on the way up as well. So these tier 1s really playing a part on this map. Usually they are just blind shotted down, but you know, Virtus Pro need them right now to get themselves back into this game, or at least, you know, get themselves with a draw, which will be the best they can hope for. But look at this, Just Cause is in trouble. He's been spotted out, but he's got 2 tanks now staring him down. That's Arclit and Applewell. He's going to be going low, 308 HP. This should be almost over for him. 48, he's got 1 back, but he's got great information, and that's enough for them to work out where Dignitas are. They lost a 1390, which is awful, and now a tier 1. And Dignitas might have just come up with something a little bit interesting here.
Just stunning. Absolutely stunning stuff. Just, oh, it's just amazing. Just almost like they traveled 10 minutes in time, know exactly what Virtus Pro is going to do, come up with a perfect strategy to counter it. Absolutely amazing. Set the trap, and it just executed it perfectly. They saw the Just Cause on his own. MX-3090 against a 416 and an MX-3090. No chance at all. Arclit with a fantastic shot against Kusok, peeking out, making it count. So just the most perfect start Team Dignitas could ever ask for. Just punishing, once again, Virtus Pro's normal tactics. Once again, Virtus Pro getting punished for doing what they always do. They need to come up with some new strategies, but they're going to come back in here and try for a win.
Yeah, they're going to go for it right now. Delight is charging forward. Applewell takes down Entex in that T69. Delight now held in place by Shanish. He's doing what he can, but it's too little too late. 186 HP. GG well played is already being said. Applewell coming down for that killing blow, but that's already been dealt by one of his teammates, as now just Breakneck and Diver stand left with almost the entirety of Dignitas staring him down. 98 HP stands in Dignitas' way there, and now just Diver alive against pretty much all of Dignitas. Only a tier 1 going down. He has nothing to do here but die pretty much, as Dignitas now hunting him down, rolling off the hill, looking for their way through. And Dignitas, they innovated there. I've got to give them credit. It was a bit of an all-in, but it paid off. Diver now just alive against so many members. Applewell's coming in. Povel as well. He's got Garat to his right. It's a matter of time. The fire comes in thick and fast, and they're trying to give him a swift grave here with 145 HP left. Applewell comes flying around the corner, and it's a 3-1 victory for Team Dignitas here. They've shown their strength, and my God, did they make it look good on that map.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love that. It was a fantastic piece of play. I think what's great about that is quite a lot of the teams just play the standard stuff and try and win, just be the better team against the other team with the standard stuff, just get the extra 10% which they need to win. Whereas Team Dignitas then innovate, completely throw the other team off guard, and win because of they've innovated. They've taken the initiative. They've come up with something which the other team did not expect.
And how brave is that to do it against Virtus Pro of all teams?
Sure, but that was why it worked. Against Odemortis, that wouldn't have worked because Odemortis wouldn't have pushed so far forwards.
Very true.
But this is the attitude a lot of these top teams have. As soon as they don't spot the tanks on one side, what they do is push up. They take that side for their own completely, and then they work from there. And that's what Team Dignitas used. They used that to their advantage. They knew that Virtus Pro are going to push up as soon as they can, as soon as they know that the teams are not there, the tanks are not there. And then Team Dignitas just pounced. They took the MX-1390 down in the perfect position. That 416 just devastation. I mean, we can look at the damage it did. 1,559, only being beaten by the, obviously, Applewell, doing 2,162. So just amazing to see.
Brilliant.
I don't think Virtus Pro are going to be too happy about that result at all. Team Dignitas look at least 10 to 15% better, just full stop. And I honestly think, you know, Navi's got to be a little bit worried as we look towards the World Finals, because Team Dignitas, they've beaten them at Eurosteel 2013 as well. And beating Virtus Pro without too much problems at all. Navi have just got to be, you know, a little bit scared about what they can come up
Certainly.
against.
You know, Virtus Pro have always been able to challenge as well, but seeing Dignitas just trash them then, it certainly is dangerous times all around, and this is just the class we're getting right now. Dignitas will get themselves onto a 15-2 record. That's highly impressive. They're barely dropping games, and when they have, it's been standout rarities more than anything. And you know, credit to the teams that have actually been able to beat them. But right now, they're looking absolutely on point. And with a result like that against Team Dignitas, 3-1 it's a bit of a landslide. You know, the first two maps, I was like, they look a bit shaky. They don't look like their normal selves. But Ruinberg kicked in. You know, and it was just like, well, they're back onto, you know, their usual form. So, very impressive stuff there from Team Dignitas. Congratulations, guys. You have obviously smashed the team who are at your heels, and you've just kind of reclaimed the throne pretty much and just had a good sit down, and they can just now chill out pretty much. They've got a 3-point lead at the very least above Virtus Pro. I want to see what the points were like actually at the start of this game, as I know they were fairly close. Well, no, they weren't. 34-42. Dignitas really are just stomping right now. They are just so far ahead of everyone. It's unbelievable. Incredible team. But anyway, that's our thoughts. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than that, to be fair. I supported Team Dignitas, but I thought it was going to be, you know, a 3-2, you know, a little bit closer in the matches, but that was a real one-sided game when it came down to the really key moments. Yeah,
I mean, it was literally that. Team Dignitas just absolutely stomped them, and I can't really say any more because
that's what it was.
Virtus Pro, you know, sitting now quite far in seconds. You know, Season 1 and Season 2, I would say those two teams were really next to each other, vying for first and second. But what's really fantastic is that in Season 1, Mouse Sports was challenging Team Dignitas every single match of the day. They actually won against Team Dignitas twice in a row. So that's how far Team Dignitas have progressed. They've pretty much got the same roster, and that's because they got the same roster. They got the same set of players that they've melded together perfectly. They created this absolutely super team, and they're the ones to beat both for the rest of this season, but also at the finals in Season 3.
Yeah, and for the rest of the world now, they are really sitting at the very top. And for Virtus Pro, now they've got to be worried about Denova. Denova are sitting on 31 points at the start of this play day. Obviously, they got 1 point with the draw there with Odin Mortis, so they're on 32. Virtus Pro getting nothing out of this one. Now there's only 2 points between those teams. So Denova could overtake them in the next couple of play days unless they sort themselves out, which would be a fantastic sight to see. He's always tipped them to be the team to really push that upper limit, and they certainly are this season. But yeah, wow, what a game. I don't think we'd have predicted it that way, and I can't imagine how many of you guys at home did, and we're going to find out right now. Melly, how many people at home actually guessed that one right? Because we did not get that anywhere near close. That was unbelievable.
What an incredible, strong play. It was, I don't know, they deserved, from my side, they definitely deserved the title of the most improving team throughout the season. As Laughter said, they're champions of the first season, obviously. But still, it's amazing. Last time, it wasn't that close as the two teams went up to fight on the battlegrounds. But this time, it was just clear. And I really liked how they put some new accents in the gameplay.
Yeah, the 4-1-6 on Ruinberg. It's genius. Absolute genius, the way they're playing it at the moment.
So the voting says 58% for Virtus Pro.
Wow.
And the comments, well, nobody has predicted right yet, but they still have a little time.
A little bit of time.
I will check in with that later, but that's just, I'm still a bit baffled, to be honest.
I think we all are.
I can't find words. Well, I had a question somewhere. Ollie, you said that we haven't seen this move on Ruinberg, I guess it was, for a long time. Do you think that those old strategies can throw out really good teams out of their regular play and win rounds? Or
yeah, I think that goes for any kind of sport. Sometimes the old is best because it's the first thing guys come up with, and it's the straightest route to a victory. So yeah, for sure. I mean, Innovating is always good, like we saw on Steps, but going back to the basics is just as equally as good. And honestly, Team Dignitas certainly a good team at doing that. But then again, Virtus Pro, they're going to come back stronger next match day, and I think they're going to go back to basics because they certainly need to do that to win.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a new submission in our Facebook contest of the Halloween pumpkin carving. So you have 1.5 hours, I guess, left until the contest closes. So take a picture from your pumpkin and upload it, send it via private message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/WoT Pro League. And yeah, let's see what pumpkins will arrive our contest. And yeah, of course, make sure following our Twitter account as well. As you saw, I keep you updated throughout the matches, even if you're not able to watch the stream. So it's definitely worth following this account. And yeah, don't miss any minute of our lovely show. Follow us on Twitch.
There you go. Melly's told you what to do, and make sure you do it, because otherwise she gets terribly angry. You don't want to take her on. I tell you that right now. But yeah, what a great game we had today. We've had 2 brilliant games, actually. A bit of a surprise in the first one. Dinova actually not managing to take down Odin Mortis there. Bit of a strange one to my eyes, but certainly I'm going to be watching that one back, see how Odin Mortis pulled that off, especially on Abbey. I think that was a real kind of classic game to watch back, in my opinion.
It was amazing. It was just brilliant stuff. I loved it. Really comparable to Team Dignitas on Steps, just complete counter. But we can look at some of the other games we played today. We had Dinova, obviously that was 2-2, but Kazakh Crew falling once again, this time to playing Ducks, 2-3 result there. So they're heading down the table. I don't think we're going to see them at the Season 3 finals even. Speil getting beaten by Mousesports again, that's not good stuff for them. That will cement Mousesports probably going up towards that 4th position. And Evil Panda Squad and Team WD is yet to be decided. So I think from looking on that result, we have to see what Evil Panda Squad do, but that's good stuff for Odin Mortis, because that kind of keeps them in that 6th position. That means Evil Panda Squad get a little bit weaker. Obviously, if they beat Team WD, then they get stronger. But if the side of Speil, that they were comparing for that 6th position, they got beaten by Mousesports, so they're sitting in 7th. They'll probably go down to 8th. And that's going to give them a little bit more breathing room. So that top 6 is really being jostled around a little bit.
It really is.
And they're all on 20 points at the moment, but we're going to have to see if that changes in the next match day, because so far it's looking pretty shaky.
It really is. And if you do like a story of redemption, Kazakh Crew have their chance. They're facing off against Mousesports in the next playday. Now, if they can manage that, they certainly have a chance to build back up maybe into that top 6. But with that result in mind, they're going to have to fight hard. They're going to be watching demos. They've got to go through every single point of their gameplay to get themselves back into this league. And bearing in mind, the next playdate is on the 11th. That's match day 19. It's not far away at all. That's on Monday. So, guys, you've got to be tuning into that one. And bearing in mind, the thing I said before, Dinova are very close to Virtus Pro. Now, between them at the moment, I believe there's 2 points. And they're going to be facing off in the next match day. Now, if Dinova win that one, if they manage to take down Virtus Pro, they will take their spot in 2nd position. That's the game to watch. We'll be covering it, so make sure you follow all the social media so you know exactly when we're going live. It will be on the 11th of the 11th. It'll be at the exact same time, and hopefully we'll be seeing you then.